you looking at you looking at me? Is that what you doing, girlfriend? You want me to play with you with these fries? Such a weird toy. French fries. How odd. Anyways, hi guys. I'm coming on here again. Look at the vibe. I set this up just right. If you understood how I tore my house apart just to try and get this set up nicely, I'll show you actually in a minute. This is my spare bedroom and I like moved my bed to the way other side of... Ooh, actually real quick, I want to, can I add? Hold on. I'm gonna end this and come right back actually because, wait, share to a group. Oh, no, got it. Okay, cool. Anyways, so if you guys understood how I tore my apartment, hi, how are you? Hi, beautiful. I have not watched your guys' live in a while. How are you? Sending you lots of love. But anyways, so I tore my house completely apart. This is my spare bedroom and I was like, I need to get the vibe right, the energy right in here. So I scurried around my house and found pieces that felt right to me and then I put it together so the energy in here feels great right now and I can just feel it. I feel so comfortable and warm inside. So I made sure to set this space up perfectly for tonight's dance class. I am so excited to bring everybody that's in the class on this journey with me. If you have not got your tickets yet, make sure to do so because it's gonna be great. Once again, I want to say that this is free movement dance. I am not telling you anything to do, I'm guiding you what you already know how to do. I am going to center you to get you out of your mind and into your body and access that mind-body-soul connection. And then by that, I'm going to like regulate your system by doing a couple like meditations, short meditations, deep breaths, and also some icebreakers to get you out of your head and realize that this is a safe spot to express your inner child and your wild side, your feminine side, your masculine side, all of the above, your shadow side. It's all gonna come out for this, and through that you're gonna break through. You're gonna get self-acceptance and drop self-judgment and really tap into, you know, like meditation. You hear how everybody talks about how you can tap into higher consciousness when you're meditating. And I meditate, and I just believe that this is, somebody's gonna get mad at me for saying this, but I feel like this is better than meditation because you are not only accessing what you're doing in meditation, but you're also accessing your energy body by moving intuitively how your soul wants you to move in the moment. So it's going to be a really, really beautiful journey. I picked out some awesome music that they also played in Bali before. And if you know me, you know how much I'm obsessed with Bali. I love it. So the music really resonated with me, and I think you guys will enjoy it too. There were some other things I wanted to talk about this week. The things I'm learning with stepping into my higher power of being able to help others into their self-expression. I've had a lot of challenges come up. I have a lot of feeling really overwhelmed, wondering if this is for me, if I'm the person, who am I to teach this, yada yada yada. And that's part of doing new things that you're not comfortable, is working through those emotions. And I reached out to help. I asked one of my friends, I already have a business, and I'm like, what is this? Like, did you deal with this? And I just feel like my point here is you never truly know everything. And the times that we're like, I already know. You know when somebody's telling you something, you're like, I already know this. But you don't know it all. And somebody always has information that they can give you that will help you on your journey. And if you show that vulnerability of asking somebody and truly listening to them, you might get key little puzzles to your pieces that you didn't even know you needed. So I can express how important it is to just go and ask and realize that you're not alone in situations and you're not the only person that's going through these emotions. We're more alike than what we would like to seem. And when you really get to talk to people and know that, you realize like there's people on this journey that are meant to help you, so you don't have to do it alone. And a lot of the times we feel like we really have to do it alone. That's not the case. That's a trauma response, I believe. If you think that you got to do everything on your own, it's because in my personal life, I believe that you've either had people hold things over your head, or you're used to doing everything on your own, and all these other things, and it's hyper independence. And one thing I know I'm personally learning is I'm very much masculine. Masculine energy is I gotta figure it out, I gotta do it myself. It's me versus the world, and it's very lonely when it's like that. So when you begin to soften, which takes a lot of time after being hard for so long, you let those walls down, and it's a fresh breath air to realize that you don't have to carry the weight on your shoulders, that you can work together as a team, and not everybody is out to get you. Some people truly want to help you and see you succeed. So if there's one message I have with the things I've learned this week is be vulnerable and allow people to help you. You're going to have really challenging moments where you're gonna be like, no, this person's like, I don't want anybody to help me, I'll do it myself, like I don't need this person's help, yada yada yada. And it's just like you're making things 10 times harder on yourself, and you're prolonging your success, because at the end of the day you're going to realize no matter how hard you try to do it by yourself, you just can't. So asking for help is so important and can really, really elevate your life. Anyways, okay, so funny story. I used to drink half a case of Dr. Pepper a day. And then when I went on my retreat, I came back and I was like, we already went 2 weeks without it. We're not coming back and doing it again. So I haven't had caffeine. And today I was like, I really want coffee. And so I went and bought one. And as soon as I drank one, my hands started shaking like this bad, to the point I couldn't do my makeup. I was trying to do my makeup and it was just not going on. And I just can't believe that coffee does that. Does anybody else have the same reaction to caffeine? I guess since I was drinking it every day for so long, so much, that it didn't affect me. But now that I took that break, I was just, my nerves were shot. I was like, couldn't breathe, I couldn't stop shaking. But for some reason, I want more coffee. I don't know why. Like after that, you'd think like, don't drink it. But I kind of want it. Let me do this. You can probably see me shaking just from holding this. And if anybody's replying, I don't know why mine doesn't show this. I'll have to work with it to figure out how I can read comments, because I don't understand this. And it makes me kind of sad because I get on here to interact with people and I can't freaking read the comments, which is frustrating. I want to get more comfortable about talking, so I will start by talking by myself, because that's all I can really talk about is what I've been through. But going back to ecstatic dance and just my healing journey in general. So it started off with me being a straight up party girl. Party girl city, like I would go to the bar by myself just because I wanted to be around people. I wanted to be the life of the party. I wanted the attention. I wanted to constantly be around people. And then, Moo, you want a treat? Want a treat? Now I have to go get her a treat. But I wanted to constantly be in parties, and I thought that I was having fun, which I was, until I wasn't, you know? There was a time where, there's been multiple times where I, would get drunk, and my friends would have to wake me up because I was, choking on my throat. I used to drink. My hair was blonde. That's why I dyed my hair dark. I was like, I do not resonate with that girl anymore. And I realized I was doing that not because I wanted to have fun, but because I was actually craving just human interaction like all of us do, and there wasn't enough spaces where you could actually get that. And I also was trying to run away and numb from my traumas, like losing my mom, losing my friend, and all these other things that just had me in fight or flight, and I was completely disassociated from life, 100% disassociated from life, like in ways that when I tell people, they're like, some people get it and some people don't. Like when I say I was so disassociated from life, like up until 2 years ago, I don't remember anything, because that's how much in fight or flight I was. That's how much I wasn't here. That's how much I was running from myself. And then eventually I couldn't run anymore, and I had to sit with myself. And I went on this like 1-2 years, still doing it now, journey of really learning how to come to peace with myself. And there was many journeys I went on how our stress and past traumas can cause illnesses, and how if you do things like watching the news that's constantly talking about negative things, or if you're constantly hanging out with negative people, how that really affects your aura field, and then, you know, starts to weigh really heavy on you. They've even done like projects with plants that if you talk negative to plants, the plants die faster, and we are plants basically, you know, we're very similar. And if you start to talk positive to yourself, you will literally see physical changes within your looks. Have you ever seen somebody that goes into a relationship and people are like, you're glowing? It's because you feel good in those moments. And the same thing goes when you treat yourself well. You just start to glow differently, act differently, talk differently, and really embody confidence and glow to everybody, and everybody sees it. So I went through that journey. And then I went through a journey where there's a journey that you eventually have to see everything for what it is. And that's really taking a look at everybody you've been surrounded by, including yourself. The things, the lies you tell yourself to keep yourself safe from things in the past that might have made you feel unsafe. So sometimes we block our own success because of the fact that maybe somebody made fun of us before and now we're scared to put ourselves back out there. Maybe you don't feel good enough because of an ex-boyfriend that has done things to you. What it really comes down to is listening to those things you tell yourself and being like, wow, I have really been hard on myself. Where did these thoughts come from? Where did these feelings come from? And then you kind of keep asking yourself questions, get to the root of them. And then when you get to the root of them, it takes a lot of integration and reprogramming. So our mind, okay, is set up like a computer. More like a maze, okay? There's certain fields, okay? When you're in a corn maze, you follow the route, okay, right? So that's how our brain is. Our brain is wired from the time we're in our mom's stomach to the time we're 7. So those neural pathways, no matter if they're good or bad, so if you're raised in a bad environment, naturally, even if you don't want that life, your brain is going to go there because that's what your brain has the pathways out to be. So what this comes down to, if you have lived a life that wasn't the best, it's unlearning those things and rewiring your brain to now follow different pathways. But if you go into the woods and you walk a path once, you're not going to really see your footprints, right? No. So you have to keep walking that path. And doesn't it seem much easier to go the path that's clear? It does. But when your path that's clear isn't the best path, the highest version that you could be, you don't want to go that path, the other path, because it's hard, it's not kept up, it's not clear. You might get poison ivy along the way, you might get cut by a branch, it feels harder. But the thing is, eventually when you keep walking that path, you're going to now make a new path for your whole family to follow. You're going to make a path that's why it's so sticky at first, because it's hard. Nobody's done it in your family line, so you have to break that down and make a path for yourself that you believe your belief systems are. And if you haven't ever asked what your belief systems are, start asking. I can't express the importance of that, because if you never ask yourself that, you could go blind your whole entire life. It's kind of like people that never leave Ohio and never really questioned it. Their family's never been the type to leave out of town. It's just not even in their eyesight. They don't question it. If you don't question, you don't change. And if you want a different life, you have to change your mindset first. You don't get places with the same mindset. So what are your beliefs? What are your limiting beliefs? What do you want for yourself? How can you show up when it's hard to choose a different life for yourself? And I have people telling me, Sierra, that's too much. Like, you're constantly fixing. No, I'm not. I'm constantly rewiring my neural pathways so I can do better for not only myself but my family line, because where I came from, I had a loving mom. Loving mom that would give you the shirt off of her back. But that's the issue. Her cup was always empty because she was giving love when she didn't have it to give. And I started to follow that. I started to do that, and that comes by people pleasing, giving when I'm so empty that I have nothing to give. And when you're giving when you have nothing to give, people can feel that. The energy is not right. You have this resentment almost that you don't even know you have because you're just on ease. So when you do things like ecstatic dance, yoga, journaling, meditating when you don't feel like it, it's because you're so used to giving to other people that you don't know how to give to yourself and love yourself. And I know that sounds so hard. I'm not saying you don't know how to love yourself, but acts of love sometimes are hard. I used to have crippling depression to the point I wouldn't get out of bed at all. I saw a quote that said, I almost wish I was paralyzed so people understood what I was going through. And I know that sounds terrible, but that's what it was. So they're like, you could put my favorite ice cream out right in front of me and I wouldn't have been able to grab it. It would hurt to go pee. Like, it would hurt to physically get up and go pee. And I felt that. That's literally where I was for 5 years. And the only thing that would get me out of bed was to go drink with my friends and act like nothing happened. And so living like that for so long, and then going and doing things like getting up and going to meditation, yoga, playing tag with my family, those things feed my soul, feed them, and I feel better afterwards. But sometimes those things feel hard. But the hard things are the better things, and the things that make you really feel good. This scrolling on Twitter, Facebook, yada, 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 is giving you instant gratification and dopamine hits instantly. And it's not real. It's not real. The real stuff is in the real world, and sometimes getting out in the real world is hard. And that's why we take little steps, like maybe just getting on my ecstatic dance call, because you're not ready to go out to go to a yoga class. You don't have the confidence. You have crippling anxiety. Oh, Sierra, what am I going to say? Like, what am I going to do? They're going to be staring at me. Baby steps. Do something online where nobody has to see you. It's you. That's it. If that's your first step. I was in a challenge, a 5-week challenge that I didn't want to do either because I was in a bad mind state, but that's how I knew I needed to do it. I'm like, I know this is gonna make me feel better. And that alone takes a long time to get to that point. But I've been working on myself for a while, so I know and force myself sometimes, and still sometimes I don't. So I was on that challenge, and I just blinked. I was on that challenge, and what they said was some people signed up and didn't show up. And to them, just signing up was a step. And I really believe that, because we just need that one step, and then next time that one step, like you might have just thought about signing up. Okay, that's a step. Now you're actually about to sign up, but you didn't. That's a step. And now you actually do it. That's a step. And then once you do it, maybe you do another thing. So I went to Costa Rica by myself on a retreat out of the country, didn't know the language, didn't know the money, didn't know anybody at this retreat. I would have never in a million years done that if, for one, I didn't get hypnotherapy, working on my mental health and staying consistent with trying to better myself, but also doing these baby steps that led up to my confidence of doing that. When I first went to yoga, I sat out in my car and talked to my best friend. I was like, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And she was like, just do it. You've been wanting to do it, just do it. And I'm like, okay. Like I walked in and I swear to God too, it was so embarrassing. I sat down in there and I, at the time, had such bad anxiety when they went around the room and asked what your name was and one cool thing about you. I was like, why are we doing this? No, don't do this to me. And I kid you not, I've only been in one yoga class that they do that. I stuttered so bad. I had to say it 3 times what my name was. That's how scared and nervous I was at the time. They're like, so what's your name? I was like, like my face was like twitching from being so nervous. And finally I did it, and afterwards I called my friend. I'm like, never again, that was terrible, I hated it, like, and I freaked out and I was like, I'm so embarrassing, negative self-talk, you know, instead of being like, wow, I'm proud of you, you really stepped out of your comfort zone to go do something you wouldn't normally do. See how there's 2 coins of that? Yeah, I'm still working on that one. I beat myself up a lot, and that's a daily thing that I do, but it's a learning thing for me. But you know, more of the story is it's 2 years later, 3 years later, and I am still going to yoga class. It's what grounds me, brings me back to life. Now I do have moments where I'm in class and I feel like people are looking at me and then I'm like judging myself a little bit, but then I have to remind myself, no, they're in their own journey. Nobody is paying attention to you. You're special, but you're not that special. They want to enjoy their time. And that's another thing we can remind ourselves is you're special, but you're not that special in the nicest way possible. Nobody's thinking about you as much as you think. Even if somebody says something, does something that makes, like, confirms in your mind they are, truth is they're not. They might for 10 minutes and then you're done. Everybody is on their own journey and more worried about themselves, and I think that's the fun part and terrifying part about it. It's just like, you matter, but you also don't. So do whatever the hell you want in life, and don't let anybody stop you from doing that. And it's going to be scary to step out and get into that and go after your dreams, and there's going to be moments where you don't want to, and you're going to try and go back to your comfort. Remember that path we talked about that's easy to go, but the other one is a little bit rough? But once you get it, you get it. You're going to want to go back to that easy path. You're going to be like, man, it's just so easy. Like, it's already caved for me. It's already there. But then you're like, no, I started this for a reason. Like, I gotta keep going. I gotta go a hard path because soon it's gonna be easy. It's gonna be paved for me. Yeah. Life is cool. Life doesn't have to be this way. And growing up in Barberton, Ohio, I have a lot of people on my page just sharing things like, I don't want to live anymore. I can't take this anymore. I disassociate all the time. And I'm like, yes, I was you. I was you. I'm still you sometimes. I'm human. I'm still you sometimes, but it doesn't have to be this way. So that's why do you see why I feel the way I feel coming from a town where, you know, you go to Costa Rica, this stuff's normal. I come home and I feel like a sheep. Like, nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. I just want, like, out there, everybody is together. They work together. They love each other. They focus more on being involved in life than being more involved with life than being what's next, what's next, what's next. And that's our problem. We're going to keep saying what's next, what's next, what's next, or waiting for these next moments to be happy, and then you run out of time. So the time is now. It's not gonna get easier. You just get used to it, which makes it easier. And then you're creating that pathway for yourself so you can level up. Don't think small, think big. Think so big that it scares the shit out of you. You're never too late, and if you think you're too late to do these things, go read up, watch YouTubes on people that are older than you that have done it. There's people, I've read things about grandma and grandpas deciding to go to college to get like a doctor's degree, and in my head I'm a little bit like, for what, you know? But they went after their dreams. The last thing you want to do is die never trying. Life is meant to try, and a lot of us don't try because we're scared of judgment of others. And that's another reason why you do my freaking class. And I know I sound like I'm preaching because I am. Get out of your way. Get out of your own way and stop self-judgment. Start self-acceptance. Start choosing you. Start your journey. You came here, we're on a fucking floating rock. And you choose to work a 9-to-5 that feels terrible to you. That this is just what life is. No, it's not it. It's not. But you can choose for it to be. You can work for somebody else's dreams. And that alone scares the shit out of me, is working to make somebody else's dreams come true. So today I want you to ask yourself, what can you do to show up one step further than you did yesterday? And if you have these thoughts that get in the way, for example, you want to go to the gym, but you're nervous. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have a game for you, a couple. For one, sometimes be delusional. Anybody that tells you not to, whatever. Everybody's going to have, there's always going to be a yin and a yang. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't agree with everything. It could be scientific facts and somebody's going to have something to say. Be delusional. Go to the gym and be like, it's my world. Everybody's living in it. Act like you're a fucking Sims character and literally just be like, this is my game. This was made for me. These people are just playing along with it. Just be safe with that, you know? But like, do that and be like, I'm here. Like, this is my experience. Like, I'm here to work out. Nobody, they're just background people. Like, this is my thing. Like, this is me right now. I'm trying, and everybody starts the same spot you are right now. And if you stay consistent with those things, you're gonna get results. And if you have days where you don't want to show up, a thing that I do is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scientifically, it works because remember, your parents would do that if you were going to get in trouble. Count down. Do that with yourself. Count down and be like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then it gives you this small gap where your mind can't keep up and you get up and go. As soon as those thoughts try to come in, be like, no, like sit and watch TV, you'll do it tomorrow. Be like, nope, up, up. Don't do anything else in between. Get up. Don't let those thoughts like get it. And then if it still comes up for you, be like, that's fine. We don't have to want to go to the gym today or meditate today or whatever you're struggling with, eat vegetables today. But what if I just drive to the gym anyways? And then when I get to the gym, I can talk myself out of it. And then when you get to the gym, be like, okay, well, what if I go inside and then I talk myself out of it? You see where I'm getting with here? So then you're like, okay, well, what if I just go on the treadmill for 5 minutes? You do it for 5 minutes. And then keep going. So I gotta close the door. My dog's gonna keep barking. Anyways, so just keep tricking yourself. Keep doing it, and there's gonna be some days where it doesn't work out like that. Right now I'm going through such a transformational point in my life, there's a thing called death and rebirth, and a lot of us are going through that. Spring equinox, which means it's the first day of spring. We are as within, so without. Like, what nature does, we do too. So we just came out of hibernation of winter, and you're being asked to bloom now. Bloom like a flower. And that requires death, okay? And we just came out of that. Like, winter is the time to cocoon, to look at your shadow side, and then spring's asking you to come out, but you're shedding that old skin, and God, is it painful? Maybe you're being asked to move. Maybe you're getting asked to leave a job. Maybe you're getting asked to drop some people that you don't want to, like a relationship or something like that. And it's hard, it's scary, it feels like you're dying. And I personally left my job that I was at for 5 years, and I have a lot of family things coming on that are just breaking my heart, and feels like I'm literally dying. And there's so much I want to do, but I have to just keep coming back to my heart and my soul. What am I here to do? What's my story? My story is I want to make a new pathway for my family. And there's certain things that I have to sacrifice in this time now to get to that point later, so I can do these things and level up my family too with me. And whoever's meant to come with me will come. Whoever's meant to go will go. And I cannot fight that. I cannot. These things come up for a reason. Pay attention to why these things are coming up right in front of your face, and stop defending things. Stop getting burnt by the same fire and over again, when the universe has a way of being like, hey, tap, tap, tap. Hey, maybe it's time to clean this up, okay? And then you ignore it. And then it's going to be like, knock, knock, knock. Time to clean it up, okay? And then you ignore it again. And now it's gonna be like, how many times we gotta tell you? Do we have to keep making this hurt? So, where are you getting a tap, tap, tap at, but you keep ignoring? And then maybe journal why you keep ignoring that. Is it comfort? Is it love you're seeking? Is it you having a fear of being alone? There's just a lot of ways you can sit with things like that. And once again, this is another ecstatic dance thing. Like, when you're in ecstatic dance, what happens is you go in a trance, okay? Your body takes over, your body's in a movement, okay? And you follow that rhythm, you get lost in the special music that we play, okay? And your eyes are closed, and you're not having all your senses, you're having all your senses heightened, because you're really in tune with your energetic body. And your nervous system knows it's safe to feel and express. So you're gonna have these things come up. And one of the things I had recently come up with everything going on with my family that's hurting my heart is I was angry. I'm angry. Life doesn't feel fair sometimes. Even though I know it makes sense later, it doesn't feel fair, and we're allowed those emotions. We're told we're not. We're told those emotions aren't okay, but they're real. They're there for you to see when your boundaries are being crossed, see when things don't feel right. It's an indicator, it's an alert. Our body's alerting us when things feel good, when things don't feel so good, when things hurt, and we need to feel that and let that go. So when you're doing ecstatic dance, you are allowing yourself to feel that in a society that told us we have to keep pushing, we have to keep going, and we have to shove those things down. And that's not how it's meant to be, including with men. Men are told not to cry. Men are told to be boys, be a man. Real men don't cry. And that old paradigm roots from, I believe, like when men had to go to war. And unfortunately, they did have to suck it up, you know? And maybe your dad wasn't in the military, but your grandpa probably was, okay? And where did your dad learn his belief systems from? A man that was hurt and scared and had to put on a mask of how this is just how men are. Like, we have to go scared, there's no feelings. And they had to do that because they had to shut that off in a very scary time where I can't even imagine what that was like. So that's why I have compassion towards men. A lot of them just are told that you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to express your emotions. So unfortunately, men shut their emotions off completely because nobody's there to be like, hey, I see you, I honor you, it's okay. And that is a lot of the reasons why we see toxic masculinity, because guys just are trying to feel something, trying to also run from things to keep themselves safe. And we need to do better as a society for allowing that space for not only women but men as well, and just working with them. So yeah, I have my class soon. I think I rambled enough. I hope this helped somebody, and if you're ever need to talk or also want to go live on me on Facebook, I plan on going live more. I have a lot of good things to share, and I think it would benefit a lot of people. I've been hibernating for 2 years, waiting to figure out how I could share these things, and now it's my time to come out and stop being scared of coming and showing who I am as a person. And I've gotten messages of people being like, you inspire me, and those are those little messages that remind you of why you need to do those things, because you never know whose life you're going to change by speaking your truth. And speaking your truth allows other people to step into their truth as well. And if we all do that as a society, I could see us having a huge major shift in consciousness and the way we love each other. And I catch people a lot of the times being like, the world's going to shit. Okay. If you think the world's going to go to shit, that's what our minds want to be our friend. They want to prove us right. They want to prove us right, okay? Their mind is looking for evidence. How is she right? How is he right? So it's looking. It's going to zoom in on those things. Have you ever wanted a certain car and now you see certain cars? Have you ever wanted a certain dog and now you see those dogs everywhere? Your mind does the same thing. So start picking the better timeline for yourself. The world's not going to shit. We're starting to really tap into how can we work together as a community? How can we start helping people step into their emotions and feelings, and how will this change the world? And then your mind starts thinking about stuff like this. The internet, a lot of people are like, the internet shit. Okay, well, how can we create boundaries on the internet so we're not spending too much time on it? Respect those boundaries and work towards that every day. But also, I think the internet's a beautiful thing. It allows you to meet people that are more like you. It allows, our parents didn't have the opportunity we did to start a business this easily. They didn't have the opportunity to go jump on a plane as easy. They didn't have the opportunity to make payments for vacations as easy as we do. I went to go look at a cruise for my family recently, and they have payments set up that you could do like $60 a month to go on a cruise in a couple months. And it's like, our parents don't have that. We are so lucky. We are so lucky. And then the same thing with realizing our food has chemicals and being poisoned. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this on Facebook. But, you know, how awesome is it that we have the knowledge of that? So now we can choose to shop locally where they're not spraying our chemicals all over our food. How lucky are we to have the knowledge that we can look at the chemicals that are being put in our children's snacks and stuff like that, like red food dye that they're proving has all these effects. Okay, cool. We're changing. We're in a time of change that's going to benefit us so highly. So just remember that when things feel dark and heavy, you have two sides, yin and yang. When you feel down, it's okay to allow yourself to feel down. Don't move those emotions because they're there for a reason. If you run from yourself, you're going to always have to eventually meet that self, no matter how far you try to run. But feel that, feel into that. Ask what you're feeling and why is it there, and how can you comfort yourself and cater to yourself for those feelings, but also remind yourself of those things, of how life can be instead. So transmute those feelings into a better timeline for yourself. Okay, I feel better. Catch me at my ecstatic dance. If you don't, that's fine. I know you'll be there eventually because just like I said, it takes baby steps, and maybe it's not for you right now. But when it is, please reach out to me because it's really cool, I promise. I love you guys, and I hope that this hit somebody in a really good way and maybe transformed you and made your puzzle pieces connect, and you decide to choose the harder but better pathway in the long run. Blessings. Love you.